South Africa. You'll never see one like that again. That is absolutely sensational. You won't see better than this. Feels so alive.
Right then, time for these two teams to get on show. The first of 6 one-day internationals.
This has been a knock of high quality from the captain. Virat Kohli has put on another magnificent show today. Aidan Markram, second youngest South African captain after Graham Smith.
Oh dear, oh goodness. Big shout and gone.
Good performance by South Africa. To be bowled out for 118 is a bit of a disaster.
Decimated South Africa with injury. Heavy de Villiers at the start of this series. Then to lose their captain, Faf du Plessis, and also Quinton de Kock. It's a big chunk out of their batting side. Sparkling innings this. And once again, arms aloft. Virat Kohli. Oh, that's out. That's stone dead.
Spinners keep doing it. The spinners have been sensational.
Pink game on Saturday. South Africa have won 5 out of 5. Could that be the catalyst?
It's within our nature, South Africans, to keep fighting and to keep plugging away, and I've got no doubt the squad's going to keep doing that.
We're going to have some fun today. It's a Pink Drive Day, of course, to raise awareness for breast cancer.
One-day international 100 number 11 for Hashim Amla. AB de Villiers goes to ODI century number 14.
And South Africa found a new hero in Quinton de Kock.
Fantastic.
So the West Indies have won the toss and they've elected to bowl first.
One-day international century. Fantastic.
That is a ridiculous shot from AB de Villiers. Absolutely extraordinary. Absolutely brilliant from Morris. And he won. That's all they need. Starting him with a rocket. The crowd and the South African players are absolutely stunned. He's left it up to Imran Tahir now to get this one run. He's got that away. Tahir has got that away for 4.
Swarm of bees across the ground.
And Sydney displays animal.
It sure seems that every time the South African players pull on this pink kit, something happens.
Oh yes, they've provided some entertainment, these pink games. Here we are once again then. It's the 4th Momentum One-Day International. South Africa taking on India. And it's live to you from the Wanderers. Look at the crowd, look around, and you'll see that absolutely everybody is draped in pink. And they're hoping that South Africa can turn things around. India hope they'll just continue on their merry way. Welcome one and all. Well, I tell you, a fantastic day. Everybody looking forward to today. As you can see, we're right at the entrance where everybody's going to come in, and there'll be more coming in as the game gets closer and closer. We're about an hour to the start of the game, and we've taken a bit more time to get ourselves ready, actually, because there's so much to talk about. I say we because, yes, the fans are here, but also Crystal Arnold. She's alongside. They're all pretty in pink. In fact, pretty all the time, perhaps. Yeah, I should go there first. How are you doing, and what's been happening?
A lot has been happening. The build-up to Pink Day has just been amazing. Already there is such an energy here at the Wanderers Stadium, and the match hasn't even started. But through the week, what I have been able to do is catch up with cancer survivors that have fought really hard to get to where they are, to a point where they are so optimistic. And it was really inspiring, and you'll be able to see some of their stories today. Of course, there's a new beneficiary this year, and it is the Charlotte Maxeke Hospital in Johannesburg that has a breast care unit that annually sees over 350 new patients every single year. They do such wonderful work, and for this year the aim is to raise $1 million or more to help them in their efforts.
So important as well, and so good of you that you start up with the order of the day. Everyone takes it to be a nice event, kind of nice to have fun, but it's serious, isn't it? and it is about breast cancer awareness, and we mustn't forget that.
Yeah, especially that word, awareness. You know, 1 in 28 South African women will be diagnosed with breast cancer. It's such a serious disease that is taking hold of the country, and awareness is key. If you catch it early, it can definitely be beaten.
Okay, tell me something before I head off. Did it take a long time to come to the decision of which pink one to wear?
Yeah, there is a bit of the right pink. You have to choose the right pink, and you went bright, I went bright. I think the whole stadium went bright.
Deliberation or nothing. No deliberation as far as I'm concerned. Okay, you were busy earlier on actually with Neil McKenzie. Crystal Arnold was in the change room. A few secrets for you.
Fans pitched up in pink, and the Wanderers Stadium is decked out in the theme, including the dressing room. Now, who better to give us a tour of the home dressing room at the Wanderers than a legend of the game and a legend as far as the Lions go, Neil McKenzie.
Hi, Crystal. Yeah, I think legends thrown around a little bit earlier, but no, I've been here a long time.
But you asked me to.
Well, that's the way it's got to be. That's the only way I did the interview. No, obviously it's welcome to the players' office. It's a good scene. There's been a few sorrows, a few tears shed in that change room, but a lot of camaraderie and a lot of teamship. So I'm looking forward to showing you what it's all about.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it. Let's go. So which is your spot, Neil?
Yeah, for many, many years I was in the corner there. I remember staring out that window on many occasions. Normally when I hadn't scored runs or the team had done badly. But this is my spot. I see JP Dermany's in there now. There's been a lot of good mates that have sat next to me here. There was Zander de Bruin, Matthew Street, Adam Bacher. So that's quite a few old names. So it's just a place to sort of stay connected, and I think there's a few times there get rid of a few frustrations. I think a guy like Dean Elgar, there's normally a punching bag at the bottom there when he gets out. There's a few guys that get out that are very reserved and relaxed. The Hashim Amla will just come back here. There's his spot there. There's no dings in his cupboard or anything like that. So everything's just very meticulous and organised. Guys that have played a lot of international cricket and have got their different sitting areas at the different grounds. So like JP Dermany would have been here for a couple of years, Hashim Amla, we've got A.B. de Villiers, that's his spot there, and you can just see how meticulous the guys are in terms of how they pack their kits, where their bats are. So there's definitely a routine in most cricketers' lives. I see some other little touches there. We've got a few pink shoelaces, a few of the bat sponsors get involved as well. He's a little bit more disorganized than the others, but I think organized chaos, he will say. So there you see for his match there, he's obviously got the pink New Balance gloves. 85% of the time, the batsmen, they're a little bit more organized than the bowlers. Bowlers tend to have a lot more boots, so filling spots and everything knowing its place is a little bit more rushed with the bowlers. Sort of calm, relaxed here, and then you get out there and it's frenetic and high pressure, high rushed, playing for one another and playing for your country, which is nothing better. Always a nice touch in most of the change rooms you get here. You've got obviously the 5-wicket hauls this side, which happen at the Wanderers, and then you've got the 100 count that side. You just look at the names on that board, you see, played since 1992, you see Jimmy Cook, Daryl Cullinan, Mandy Yachat, Rashmir, Snell. One of the big things that I miss from the game is actually the change room, and the guys in the change room. So it takes a bit of a getting used to period when you've retired. You miss maybe the runs or the wickets or whatever, but this is the biggest element of the game that you miss.
The honours board, such an inspiration. Now let's be a player for a moment and follow Neil down the path that you would take if you were heading out to go and bat.
And this is when you know it's business time. Whew. A nice touch from the Lions and Gauteng Cricket Board is just all the the players that have represented the Lions and South Africa. So you've got Kahisa Rabada. There's a superstitious guy. There's Zander de Bruin. You've normally got some kids shouting here, which is always a good touch. You know, you were a kid once was going. And then this is it. When you step across here, there's no turning back. I've had a 21-year career span, most of it played here at the Bull Ring, and before that was my dad. He had 20 years as well, so myself, my brother, my sister, and you know, all the other kids sort of coming here, watching our fathers. So it was nice to emulate in terms of, you know, you're a youngster here, practicing here, diving here, watching your father, and then to obviously to get to play here. And I think just the stadium and everything around it, it's not the biggest field around, and it's more sort of, you know, you can hear every noise, and the crowd really get out to support you.
Yep, nice for Neil McKenzie to turn up. He's alongside me. You'll see him in just a bit. Look at everybody else coming in, though, today. There's so many. It's a sellout. It always is the pink day. And I tell you what, there'll be a lot of hope with many who are turning up here from a South African perspective, because they've never lost a pink day one day international. So we shall see how it goes today. It'll also be very interesting to see the costumes that will be worn. They'll be varied, there'll be some good, some particularly bad, although in a case to try and bring awareness to this horrible disease. Breast cancer awareness. Yep, look at them, looking smart. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Sunny Sergi, how are you?
I'm in the well. I hope you're also in the well.
I'm in the well too.
Yes.
Nice to have you here. Neil McKenzie, it was yesterday you were busy in that change room. It's not so long ago that you played. Does it bring back memories when, you know, you're being made to recount and replay all that's gone on in times past in your career?
Yeah, I think obviously it was really nice for me to go back into the change room and just see Gauteng Cricket, CSA and everyone jumping behind this initiative. You know, the Proteas there, they've got helmets that are signed, they've got shirts that are signed that are going to raise money for this terrible disease. As you said, you know, it affects grandmothers, mothers, wives, daughters. So a great sort of cause to get on top of.
Nice, isn't it, Sonny, that it's not just sport. You know, so often many take the game seriously, and this is not to say you shouldn't take your game seriously, but there are other things that are particularly more serious, more so than not getting runs or not getting wickets.
Yes, I think, you know, as far as sport is concerned, basically it's a day or 5 days, and, you know, somebody's going to win, somebody's going to lose. But I think when you look at the larger perspective and the society at large, I think this initiative is wonderful. I think it is absolutely wonderful to try and create awareness of a dreaded disease. And as Crystal told us a little earlier, if 1 out of 28 women are getting affected by that disease, then clearly I think, you know, the more the awareness, the earlier that you can have a look at it, and the better the treatment would be. So sport has this wonderful ability to talk a language which, you know, everybody understands. It's not just, you know, the winning and losing. And if a sport is followed, like cricket is followed quite a lot over here, to have this particular initiative where a lot more people are going to, not apart from those at the stadium, a lot more people are going to tune in on television, maybe even here on radio, and they get to be aware of this. I think it's fantastic. So, you know, my hats off to Cricket South Africa and, you know, the South African team for this fantastic initiative. And I'm very confident that in the near future, probably from the season, this season, the Indian Cricket Board will also look to adopt a cause. It doesn't have to be just one cause, because there are so many issues. So, you know, maybe every season you adopt a particular cause and create awareness for it. I think that would be fantastic.
Yeah, certainly. As we say, you don't want to forget what the whole day is about. The day is about breast cancer awareness. It's, I guess, also about cancer awareness at large. And we've got to keep our mind on that and ensure that a whole lot of money is raised. To tell us about who in particular is raising the money, who's put their money behind where their mouth is, here's Mike Hazeman. Afternoon, Hayes.
Afternoon, Palm. You know, let me just start by saying I'm not far away from where the players have come out and they're doing warm-ups, playing soccer and some stretching at the moment. And I can tell you the players, you know, they just got smiles on their faces. They love this day, the South African guys. And I know the Indian boys are also very supportive as well. So that's just terrific to see them behind it. Now let's get into other people that are working hard to raise money for this event. One of them is SuperSport. Now let me just show you what SuperSport are doing. We've got a graphic regarding the auctioning of the shirts. Now, this is an online auction. Let's not forget that. SuperSport and the Proteas have combined to auction off the Proteas pink match day shirts. Now, rest assured, they will be the match day shirts. Each player will sign their shirt, and that'll have a reserve price of 5,000 Rand each. And SuperSport has already pledged 50,000 Rand for the Proteas captain, Faf du Plessis shirt, which will be not full of sweat because he's not playing at the moment due to injury, which is a bit unfortunate for South Africa, but that's good for Faf du Plessis' values. That gives you a bit of a hint, I think, as to what some of the values of some of the other shirts will be. And you can auction, go online for that auction at supersport.com/pinkday. Supersport.com/pinkday. Okay, so there's what SuperSport's doing and how they're getting involved in the Pink Day, and the player shirts are going to be online after they've signed them, and that'll be a nice little trophy, I'm sure, for some people, but also, importantly, raising some money. Speaking of that, Carol Bosman's alongside me, who is the head of sponsorships for Momentum. Carol, what a day this is for you guys.
No, look, it's the one day where nobody actually minds to put on a bit of pink clothing. And it's just wonderful to see how, firstly, yesterday, Pitch Up in Pink, all of South Africa, got behind us. And this is what it should be. This property, although driven by Cricket South Africa and Gauteng Cricket, who we're very privileged to be in partnership with, this property should be owned by the South African public. It should become an institution where people can get behind this cause. And by putting on pink, so if you're watching the game today, they need to put on pink. And if they feel they want to donate, because we have seen now that 1 in 28 women are affected by breast cancer. And by raising awareness, early detection does lead to saving lives. So one can actually say to someone, by wearing pink today, we not only watched a fantastic cricket match, but we are honestly busy saving lives. We're upping the awareness around this cause, and by doing so, we're getting more people to go for early checks, and that strokes perfectly with what Momentum is all about, is early detection.
I know the target for today is R1 million or more, but yes. I want to have a look also at money that's been raised so far in the previous 5 Pink Days we've had. We've got a bar graph here, which is giving an indication. 2013, there were 2 in 2013, 2 separate tours. Then we got to 600,000 in 2015, and close to 780,000 in 2016, and 600 last year. So to this year, R1 million or more is what is going to be the target. But before we talk about that, we also just want to let everyone know about how the money is going to be contributed by other companies. Bidvest, $1,000 for every boundary. Momentum, that's your boys, Carl. 10,000 for every 6 into the family area, and 100,000 to hit the M in Momentum. South African Breweries are involved for 5,000 for every pink wicket-keeping glove catch taken in the crowd. Those pink wicket-keeping gloves have been given out. Centre Maker involved, 10,000 for every India wicket. Now, India have taken much more wickets so far than South Africa. Let's hope South Africa can really pump that total up. And JCB, K-Mark, New Balance, Proteas, and the ITW group. The Proteas, by the way, have contributed 100,000 Rand, so that's great to see. Right, $1 million or more. How are we going to do that? So we've got to start with that SMS to 42946. So you can donate $30 if you donate. If you SMS, 42946, you'll donate 30 Rand towards this. So $1 million or more is what your aim is.
Well, firstly, I want to say thank you to the players. It's wonderful to see the players making a contribution, and also to all the partners of Cricket South Africa who's come on board. But every single person can make either by ways of an SMS or by SnapScan. So there's a code that will be shared today as well. I don't want to stick out my neck too far, Mike, but we're already looking at about 1.3. Wow, right. I'm hoping we get to 1.5. I really think we can. And I want to share with you that 1/3 of everything that we raised today, our partner in this event is the Charlotte Makwekwe Breast Care Unit at Charlotte Makwekwe Hospital. 1/3 of the funding will go for research. around this, and then 2/3 will go to actually upgrade that facility. It really needs private and public sector to assist them to upgrade the facility and to make it. It's a very intimate moment. When someone arrives there, they go for a check and they sit there and they wait to hear if they possibly have breast cancer or not. So we've already seen plans in terms of what we can do at that unit, and we want to make it tangible and show the people exactly what has been done with the money, and that's the plan. So I'm hoping 1.5.
Okay, righto. Well, we'll obviously keep the public updated as to how we go. But,
Yes.
Carl, thanks so much for your time. Enjoy the day. It's a special one for Momentum. Enjoy that.
Thank you so much, Mike.
Okay, before I do go, Robocop, just follow me here. I just want to point out these boys. Look at these guys here. These guys are the bad boys. That's what they call themselves. And they have travelled 800 kilometres to come here today for the game. Who are you supporting, boys? There you go, Pom. There's just a bit of a snippet of the excitement in the crowd at the moment of the Wanderers. Pommy, back to you.
Yeah, Hayes, but 800 kilometres from where? You didn't tell us. He didn't tell us from where. Hayes, come on.
From Messina, 800 kilometres. Well, one of the guys actually said, but just stick your hand up there with the glasses. There you are, there with the glasses, with the big hand. I think he's the accountant. He said it was 798 kilometres. So I think he's the accountant. From Messina, Pom, that's where they come from,
Okay.
from Messina.
Okay, from
Back to you,
Messina.
mate.
I'd also say that an accountant's glasses are not that colour. Anyway, never mind. Thanks for that, Hayes. They might have travelled from where? Mexico? I don't know. We don't know. But yeah, everybody turning up here at the Wanderers to come and see what will happen in the game today, but also in support of this magnificent initiative for breast cancer awareness. Right, here's Crystal Arnold once again with a special guest.
I'm Mariki Creel. I'm from Newcastle. I'm the CEO of Optical Alliance Optometry Group. I'm a mother. I'm a grandmother. I'm a survivor because I'm a fighter. This is the 4th year in a row that we're coming to the Pink Day cricket and love every moment of it. We really make it a fun day. The kids, the grandchildren, we come and we sit on the grass and we have fun. Won't miss it for the world. I was diagnosed in 2014, 2 weeks after my husband passed away. Yeah, life throws us some curveballs from time to time. So I had the 4 Red Devil chemos. Oh, the chemo is a nightmare. The moment that it's in, I was completely drained, absolutely drained. I had surgery and then I had to finish the process, so I had 34 radiotherapy treatments after that. And in January of 2015, I was actually in remission. So before I realized what was happening, it was over. Cancer shouldn't change who you are. You're still the person who you've been, so the drive is still there, and it shouldn't stop you in doing still what you need to do in life. So for me, it's important to still live my life without fear. Every moment that you go through it and every hour that passes is closer to where you'll be okay again. I learned from this to take a step back and to really understand what is life all about. And what is important is the people that we love. That's what's important. It's not to rush and see how much we can get out of life. I've been a strong woman all my life, but I've never been as strong as what I am now.
It's a nice story. I should say it is one of the nice stories. Kuni actually works with us, is in VTs actually, as one of the guys behind the scenes. It might have been the one who rolled that for us actually. And I say there can be some nice stories, and in essence, Sunny, we were just talking about it off air, it's when it is caught, isn't it?
And that's the reason the awareness factor comes in. The awareness of how to maybe check yourself for any signs, and then immediately go and seek medical advice. That is the way to go, and I think that is the reason this awareness is the most important thing. A lot of times people are not aware of what's happening, and sometimes you're not even aware of what's happening inside your body. You might get the odd sign, but you might ignore it because you're a layman. You don't know medicine. But clearly, I think when your body acts a little bit different than normally, is when you go and seek medical advice. Let the doctor say, oh, fine, nothing wrong with you. Then you can, breathe easy again.
Yeah, okay. Neil, we're coming back to you in a second to find out with regard to this surface what you think. After we've had a thought from these two gentlemen who also are looking pretty in pink today. Two great fast bowlers. Yeah, and wore pink a long time ago as well. Mikey Holding. How you doing, Mikey? How you, Sean?
Pommy, absolutely no need to sledge Mikey, please. None of that. Just to tell you, first of all, that the dark clouds that were present have made their way past the ground for now. We are maybe expecting some thunderstorms a little bit later. But, Mark, when we look at the surface, this looks like a goodie.
Definitely looks good, Polly. It looks a lot better than the surface looked for the test match. A fair covering of grass, just slight tinge of green, nothing to get carried away as a fast bowler. A few cracks around, but it's a one-day game. It should stand up for the entire day. It should be a good pitch.
Yeah, I'm going to have a quick look down here.
On your own.
We're talking grass. It's gone brown and it's very hard. So I think it's an even covering. I think the key to that will be that the surface should come on, and I don't think it'll be too paced.
No, it should not be too paced. The cracks are there, as I said, but they are not opening up. And if the ball hits that crack, it should not deviate off the crack. It's still fairly close, and it looks like a very good pitch whether you're a batsman or a bowler. The ball should come onto the bat, which should encourage the batsmen to play their shots. And with the slight tinge of green, there should be a little bit of seam movement.
And all the South Africans want to know, Mark, is it going to turn? I don't think it's going to turn that much. I think it should come on nicely.
It should not turn a lot, but they still have to deduce which direction it will spin in, if it does spin at all.
Okay, so the final thoughts are good to bat, and I reckon it's more down to the team's tactics and what they actually want to do, whether they want to bat or bowl first or chase, more than going to be dictated to than what the pitch is going to do. I think it should be good throughout the 100 overs.
Yeah, that sounds nice. It sounds very nice. Actually, let's hope that it will stay nice and be nice right from the outset. And look at the temperature, possible thunderstorms, it says above that, and temperature 26 degrees Celsius is the maximum. It's actually quite pleasant. It was particularly hot when we got here a little earlier on, and here in the high veld, I guess you expect that there'd be thunderstorms when it is quite hot. Rainfall, as you see there, 80% chance of that, and a good little breeze as well, 14 kilometers per hour, in order to keep all the players nice and cool out there. Neil McKenzie, you heard both Mikey and Sean talking about that surface. There'll be those who are coming here will be thinking, oh goodness, not like in the test match. It's not like that, is it? Because when it's one-day games, we normally get very good ones here.
Oh, definitely. I think Sean and Mikey have got a spot on out there. I think obviously with the two new balls, it will seem a little bit up front. The big thing and the good thing for the South African batsmen is that the Indian spinners, in terms of the other coastal wickets and slower wickets, the deflections didn't go for fours. So here, opening up the scoring a little bit for the batsmen, here you get value for your runs. So any deflections do go for four and you get value. So strategy-wise, in terms of the batters, they can look to play the little reverse paddles, the little laps, in terms of getting value for that risk.
With regard to whether it spins or not, what is it that you normally say? You could be on glass, you could be on absolutely anything. But these two spinners, they're seventh heaven, aren't they?
Oh, they are. And like I said, whether it is glass or grass, they get the ball to grip and turn a little bit. May not be viciously. And they have not even tried to do that, because you can see clearly from their release that what they're looking to do is slow the speed of the ball in the air, so it doesn't reach the batsman in a way where they can use the little extra pace. The South African spinners have been bowling maybe about 8 to 10 kilometers quicker. So the ball's coming on to the Indian batsman's bats a little bit quicker as well. So the two Indian spinners have recognized that. And I think most importantly is their length. The length that has been there around the good length area, around the off stump, getting the ball to do just that little bit. They've been superb. They've been superb. And honestly, unless A.B. de Villiers plays an inspirational innings, I think South Africa, even on this surface, will probably struggle against these two.
Anything they can do to make it different? Do you reckon just because they've won 5, they'll win 1 here, South Africa?
Well, we've been saying all the records, you know, the 17 consecutive home victories, that's gone. Never losing to India in Durban, that's gone. So there's been a few records broken, but this is Pink Day, and South Africa normally turn up an extra 10, 15%. So I'm hoping that's the case today.
Yeah, and some will say it's more than 10 or 15% if you've got AB de Villiers back in the side. We shall find out if he is playing for sure. Everybody hopes so because it's such a star. But what will happen today? Let's start with the toss with Mikey Holding.
Yes, Pommy, thank you very much. It's now time for the toss in this Pink game. I've got both captains here with me as usual. Aiden Markram, South Africa's captain, Virat Kohli, India's captain, and the Pycroft, who is a match referee again for this ODI. And the mascot is here dressed beautifully in pink. Aiden, you have the coin. False start. Heads is the call.
Tis a head, India.
That was quick, Virat. You'll decide to bat that quickly.
Yeah, we're going to bat first. Look, it's a looks like a hard pitch with decent grass cover on it. So we reckon the ball's going to come on nicely onto the bat. And then, you know, it's always difficult to chase under lights the Wanderers, something we experienced last time and the tour before as well. So, yeah, we want to just take the opportunity to put runs on the board again.
Lots of captains don't bother to take weather into consideration, but there's talk about thunderstorms later. Wouldn't that affect your decision?
Well, look, you know, we've had those situations in the past as well. If you have enough wickets in hand, then it probably turns out to play in your advantage. And, you know, that's something that we don't want to focus on. We want to focus on playing the game. We want to focus on the decisions that we make, and we want to back them. So, look, weather is not in anyone's control. You don't know when the thunderstorm's going to hit or not. We just got to do the things that we can do right and, you know, try to get the same kind of intensity that we had in the first 3 games.
It seems as if everything is going right so far.
Yeah, no, not much has gone wrong, but there's still areas that we've identified. You know, even in victories, you must sit down and think of areas that you can strengthen so that you keep your performance consistent. And, you know, that's the hallmark of this team. That's been the hallmark of this team, especially in the shorter formats, that we look to rectify our mistakes even in victories. So, you know, we sat down, we identified a few things, and we want to do them right in this game.
What about team changes? I presume none?
There is one change, unfortunately, forced change. Kedar Jadhav did his hammy in the last game, so he's not 100%. So Shreyas Iyer replaces him, rest the squad of this team.
Okay, Virat, good luck.
Thanks, Michael. Cheers.
Aiden, what would you have preferred to have done?
Mike, we were pretty unsure, to be honest with you. We were leaning, exactly, yeah, we were leaning towards bowling first. Same reasons as the previous game, so not too unhappy with how it's turned out.
It could have gone a bit better, but for that decision with Virat Kohli, if in this other game when you bowl first.
It could have, yes. There's a lot of could-haves and would-haves and should-haves in this game. We've looked past it now. It obviously would have been nice at the time, but it's something we're past now, and we're focusing on today, and then hopefully we've got some good energy today. Yeah.
So far, South Africa, every time you have put on this pink suit, you have been winning. Going to repeat the today?
That'd be lovely, Mikey. Yeah, the pink has brought us some luck, and hopefully it brings us some renewed energy and so sort of some luck today. Yeah.
Rumours that AB de Villiers is back in, is that so?
Yes, AB is back. AB comes in the team for Kaya Zondo. And then the other change is Morne Morkel comes back into the side for Imran Tahiya.
Okay, Aiden, good luck.
Cheers, Mikey, thanks.
India won the toss and they'll be batting first.
Confirmation then of the two sides. We'll start off with India, and there's the change. Shreyas Iyer is into the side, and unfortunate for Kedar Jadhav in this winning side of India's that he, you know, can't continue on with his mates, but a chance for somebody else. Tell us about Shreyas Iyer.
Well, he's a very, very good player. He's had a tremendous record in domestic cricket for the last 2 or 3 seasons. In the couple of opportunities he's got in the 50 overs game, he has done really well. He's got a couple of half centuries. He's one of those guys who likes to get on with the game, doesn't take too much time to settle down. He's an outstanding fielder as well, and one of India's future batting stars.
Yeah, no space further up, is there? You're just looking at that batting order, and so much experience and so much reputation with regard to Dhawan, Rohit, Kohli, Rahane as well as Dhoni, so he kind of has to fit in and wait for a go, doesn't he?
Where he gets to bat is going to be interesting, because Virat bats at number 3, and then at number 4
Rahane.
You have Rahane, men in form. Whether Shreyas will get to bat before that, but he'll come in at 5 for sure, before Dhoni and company. So yes, India have in a way strengthened their batting. Kedar Jadhav also is a very useful player in the sense that he bowls a bit. He's a street smart batsman, but Shreyas Iyer is the more explosive batsman.
Okay. On to the South African side. Neil, as you look at that, Aidan Markham talking to Mikey Holding, they're talking about the changes and what's stark and quite obvious to us, no spin bowlers.
Yeah, I think probably the reason for that is they've really played, the Indian batsmen really played Imran Tahir really, really well. So they've probably decided to go with Morne Morkel, add a little bit more aggression to the pack. So obviously you've got a few out-and-out fast bowlers there. The other change is obviously Kaya Zondo. He had two games, a good little opportunity for him, and I don't think he'll be upset to be making way for AB de Villiers. So, and you just look at that scorecard, when a player of that sort of caliber comes back, it just looks like a rounded batting lineup, and South Africa look like a lot better space.
Are you concerned at all about the sameness of the fast bowling? Because that's what was spoken about in the previous game, in that it might have been a good idea to have two of the spinners rather than one, but it's kind of gone the other way here, where you've got 5 fast bowlers. Who does the spinning then to change the pace?
Well, you've got the captain, Aidan Markham, to spin, and JP Dermody did a great job the last game. He got 2 wickets for 60, a little bit expensive the last over or 2, but did a decent job. I think the big thing for them is they're worried about the Indian batsmen, particularly how Kohli has played and how easily he's played Imran Tahir.
Okay, so with that in mind, that doesn't sound like they're saying he's going to be out and they'll bowl to somebody else.
Well, I don't know about that. I think they just want that aggression. I think most South Africans, when they're backed into a corner, we come out fighting and flying. And I think traditionally and historically for us, we normally go with the faster men than the spinners. Whether that's right or wrong, that's been the nature of South African cricket for many, many years.
Okay, and in as far as India is concerned, the juggernaut, does it just continue on? Too much momentum, do you think, for India, and in fact for South Africa to stop India?
Well, if you actually have a look at the 3 matches that have been played so far, India has hardly been stretched. In driving terms, you would probably say they are only in 2nd or 3rd gear. So they still have a couple of gears left. And this is where I think it can be tested, because this is a pitch which might be a little more suited for the South African bowling attack. They've got 5 new ball bowlers. And so, yes, batting first as well, it'll be tested. India generally prefers to chase, but in this instance they have opted to bat first. So that's going to be something interesting to see how they cope up with it. But with the addition of Shreyas Iyer at number 5, the batting looks even more formidable.
Okay, well, let's see how it does go. It's Pink Day. It's the 4th one-day international between South Africa and India. And the hope of these South African fans as they stream into the bull ring is that the South African side can turn up today and get one over the visitors. Stay with us as we go to the start of the game.
So alive, feel so alive.
Right in the heart of Johannesburg in Maboneng. You can go on a tour there and you'll see the hustle and bustle and get to feel the atmosphere of the city centre of Johannesburg. A few arty things there as well. Yeah, you can take in some art, have a few drinks, a few coffees if you like, drinks of your preference. Yes, welcome back. South Africa against India, the 4th one-day international, and it is India who lead 3-0. Must win for South Africa if they will stay alive here in this series. And what's happened over the years, it's 5 out of 5 for South Africa, and the hope is that they can come back here. For India, they want to kill it. Make sure that the series is done and dusted. The story from the toss, because he's here and he's come from the toss, is that India have won it and decided this time around that they'll bat first. Were you surprised at all, Mikey? Good afternoon, by the way, first of all.
Good afternoon, Pommy. No, I wasn't really surprised, because if you remember, they did that the last game as well. And when I asked Virat about it the last game, he said they just wanted to do something different. They don't want to do what they consider their strengths all the time, because this is now practice. This is now looking to get better and better for 2019 World Cup. They're accustomed to chasing, they love chasing, they always chase down whatever is set, but they want to also bat first, and they have done it now 2 in a row.
Yeah, I thought it might be different simply because this is a crunch game, in essence, a different pressure, and then that they must close out the series.
I think they are very confident, Pommy, that whatever they do, they are going to play good cricket, and they think if they play good cricket, they'll win. Slight difference this time with AB de Villiers around, but I think they are quite confident.
What does AB de Villiers bring to this side, apart from his talents with regard to what he can do on the field? Neil Mackenzie.
Well, Pom, as you said, his talents. He's averaging 50, striking at over 100, experience. He's been a past captain. I think he's done really well against the Indians. This is his pink day. He said it a lot a couple of years ago. It just gives the whole side a boost. What South Africa have been battling with is one guy that can hang the other side and rotate the strike. And for South Africans, especially for all the batters coming in there, having AB at the other end, rotating the strike, you get a good feeling, a good momentum off him. So you can build those partnerships, and that's what's been lacking. No partnerships of any sort to think about for South Africa.
Okay, pick your brains a little bit more about that. Actually, after we hear from AB de Villiers, here he is talking to Sean Pollock just a little bit earlier, or should I say Mr. Pollock.
Got AB with me. AB, first of all, the big question, how's the finger?
Finger's good, thanks. I tried it out yesterday. It's still a little bit sensitive, like any fracture would be after recovery, but I feel it 100%, and I'm definitely ready to go today.
Okay, you've been out for 3 matches. Are you a good watcher? Do you watch all the games, or you try not to catch up too much?
No, I do watch, not all of it, but I watch as much as I can. I definitely look at the highlights, some of the comments made by the wise guys like yourself and so forth, and then try and take some learning from that. But yeah, so I'm not a huge watcher, but I definitely followed what was going on. And Indians on top at the moment, but we've got an opportunity to turn things around today.
Coming back into the camp, what's the vibe like?
Vibe has been amazing. I'm very surprised and impressed by what I saw yesterday. I thought it was going to be quite dark, and the guys would be very disappointed with. Obviously, they are disappointed, but I felt that the atmosphere and the spirit in the team was still really good. So I'm happy to be back, and the guys are raring to go. We're hopefully going to turn it around today.
The pink day, always a nice event to be part of?
Yeah, we play some good cricket normally when we're wearing pink. So look, when you play at the bull ring, no matter what clothing you're wearing, it's great to come out here with this great atmosphere. But today is extra special. We're supporting a great cause, and hopefully we raise a lot of awareness around that, around the country, not only around the country, but around the world as well.
You say we, but you don't go too badly in these pink days either.
Yeah, I love playing with the Wanderers. So yeah, hopefully more of that today, Polly. I had my batting coach help me out in the week, Mr. Sean Pollock. Give me a few pointers on what to do and what not. So I'm feeling very confident about today.
Okay, well, we look forward to a good performance. Good to have you back.
Thanks, Paul.
I told you, Mr. Pollock, he said to him. He did. Right. He asked him if he was a good watcher, and he said he sometimes watches as much as he can. What does it invoke in him as he watches his side? Say his side is part of it, and things don't go so well, and will they change whatever plans he might have had in his head when he turns up here, Nick?
Yeah, I think, he's a world-class performer and a world-class team man. So obviously he knows playing for South Africa and being a part of the change room for as long as he has. He obviously hurts, even if he's watching. I think he alluded that the 2 kids have obviously curtailed, the 2 boys curtailed his watching over the last 2 years.
They have the remote.
They've probably got the remote, Teletubbies or something like that. So, but he's passionate, and when he comes in here, it's not what he gets today, it's the confidence that the other players build off him that will help South Africa today.
That was some innings that day. I tell you, those who were there continue to this day to say, I was there to watch him smash it to all parts. Is it enough that he comes back, that the others are buoyed? Will that make them better, Mikey? Because, to be frank, they've been inept up to this point.
Yes, they have been, but him coming back in the team should make a big difference. If you look at the Indian team, for instance, Pami, the last game, take Virat Kohli out of it when he was should have or could have been dismissed early, it could have been a different story. Virat Kohli has made a huge difference to that Indian batting lineup. I see no reason why AB de Villiers can't do the same. And as Neil said, it's not just what he can do with the bat. It's the confidence he then instills in the others that are at the crease with him. If you are going hunting and the two of you have no guns, Pammy, you're going to be a little bit afraid.
I'm not going hunting.
Exactly. But
not without the guns.
If one has a gun and you have no gun, you are less afraid. And he has a gun.
I think he has a pretty big one.
Exactly.
We just hope that it can fire today. Okay, who he'll have to fire against is these spinners, because they have wreaked havoc on South Africa's batting, and they look to continue to do the same. Here's a look at them with Mike Hayes.
Thanks, Palm. Yep, havoc is the word, that's for sure. They've been devastating so far. And what I've tried to do with the Hawkeye guys is just to code them a little bit and see if we can work out how the South Africans have picked them a little bit better. Now, let's just have a look at the Chinaman bowler Kuldeep as we look at the work that he's doing so far. Just want to stop it right there and just point out a couple of things. One, on the left is the leg break, and on the right is the googly. So let's just bear that in mind for starters. And I'm trying to work out where the South African guys can actually get an idea as to what they can look for to try and get an idea as to what he's bowling. Now, let's just have a look at this. The leg break ball, you can see, is pretty close to the stumps. Let's have a look at the googly. You can see there's a little bit of a distance there, so that might be one little area that they can spot. And that's all about the turn. Here's the other thing. You can see the ball is completely hidden on the right. On the left, it's open, but on the right, it's hidden. So that might be something else that they can have a look at and maybe get an idea. Let's go to the leg spin of Chahal. Again, we've got the leg break on the left, the googly on the right. For starters, we'll have a look at his gather. Everything looks really good. You can see when he gets to that position, it's reasonably similar. Once again, you've got a situation where he's just a little bit away from the stumps when he is bowling that googly, so that's a minor thing. But this is where it gets a little bit interesting. Have a look at his hand, particularly on the right. You can see that it is fairly open there and the ball is being shown, but it's coming right out of the back of the hand. So the batsman for the googly should be able to spot that the ball is a googly. You can see the back of his hand. Now, there's no doubt that the most dominating of both these bowlers has been the left-arm Chinaman of Kuldeep. I've got some streams here. I've got blue streams, Chahal. These are wickets taken with the googlies. And I think the South Africans are picking him reasonably well. I think they're not too many problems. But when it comes to Kuldeep, they have got really, let's be honest, little idea as to what's going on. That's terrific stuff to get rid of Markram in the last game. And there's a couple of googies as well that were unsure and also not picked. So Kuldeep has been brilliant. And another little clue is these release points. So let's just go through these release points. The leg break is the blue ball. The googly is the white ball. So they're googlies. Now here come the leg break. So he's nice and close to the bowler. Okay, it's a little tricky if you can't see the ball coming down the pitch as well, but it's a bit of a hint initially, and you can see that there's the split, and you can see that basically there's the release points, and you can see that the ones that come back in, the standard Chinaman balls, are delivered from near the umpire. Okay, let's have a look at one more thing to have a look at, and this is quite interesting. This is the flight and pace. Average comparison between Kuldeep and Tabraiz Shamsi. South Africa not playing a spinner apart from JP today. And you can see that the South African spinners up until now have been a lot quicker at the crease and also through the end to the batsman. And one more thing I want to have a look at also here is the stats. This is why South Africa aren't playing a spinner. Have a look at this. 3 wickets compared to 21 wickets. And you can see also the numbers are quite extraordinary. Wickets and the economy rate is unbelievable. So they have dominated, and the real problem that I see is that Kuldeep is not being picked. That's the real problem, as this will show. These are 2 balls in the same spot that he bowled to Markram. Bang. He is a real problem, Kuldeep, and I just don't see any reason why that's going to change today unless they've done some serious homework between the last game and today. Right, Pom, back to you.
Okay, Hayes, I think we can find reason why that might change. In fact, I'm going to ask how we can get that to change. Neil Mackenzie, don't go to player that's going too far. Come closer to us. You've been in that change room as batting coach. You would have the job of shifting the guys from game to game to game and making them better. How would you make them better for today?
Well, first of all, they've had 3 games in. They've got that experience or the footage to have a game plan. I think it's all about backing a game plan, going with what your game plan is on the day in terms of where you want to hit the different wrist spinners and backing it 100%.
Okay, there's a look at the guys taking the photos, but you've got to tell me a bit more than that. How do they play these spinners? What game plan? How?
Well, what I would try and do, or what most of them would try and do, is try and take out one dismissal. So if you're not picking a guy, you've got to either get to off stump or get to leg stump and wait for one of the deliveries. Hopefully not one of the dismissals. So for Kuldeep, is sort of get onto off stump, play for the one that's turning in. If the one's going away from you, you're playing it late enough that you're not going to get the edge. And that's not I don't think that's his big dismissal ball. That's the one coming in that's got all his wickets mainly.
Mikey, is there a chance that there can be so much focus on what these spinners would do that the eye would also go off the ball with regard to the other bowlers, the faster bowlers in the Indian setup? What have you made of them in the way they've gone?
Well, that's a possibility as far as the South African batsmen are concerned. Yes, they could then think, wait, getting the runs off these spinners, let us try and get it off the seamers. But the seamers have done a good job. Only Bhuvneshwar Kumar has been a little bit expensive, but all of them have bowled well. So that would perhaps be a bad tactic to try and just capitalize on the seamers. You have got to find a way of scoring off the spinners.
Okay. The anthems are ready. We'll get a final word from the guys in just a bit. Let's be upstanding and quiet for the anthems.
पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
A loud cheer in the bull ring, and it is very loud, I can tell you. And the players will experience all of this atmosphere. And what they want, what they're used to, the South African one certainly, is that when they're here, generally in one-day internationals, they come out on top. They need to today if they're to stay alive in this series. Mikey Holding, apart from A.B. de Villiers, please pick out some important men from South Africa's perspective as they try and set this game up with the ball.